Hey guys, so I don't know if you guys heard, but Walmart just released a React framework called Electrode that enables you to build applications using the React framework. So this is really cool. As you guys can see, I'm actually recording this in my car on my way home. But I wanted to let you guys know about it. It's super cool, super interesting. So Walmart has a subset of their company called Walmart Labs. So everyone knows Walmart. Walmart has stores all across the country. But in addition to those stores, they have a huge e-commerce business. They compete very heavily with Amazon. They just bought Jet, and they're really taking the digital space very seriously. And so they have a department called Walmart Labs where they open source bits and pieces of their software that they've developed internally. So this appears to be the fourth project that they've released. They released a testing framework, a node framework for releasing SEO content, and I think there was another project that I saw on their website. But this is the fourth project that they released, and it's very interesting. It's a React framework called Electrode, and it's basically the same platform that Walmart's main e-commerce website uses. So Walmart recently redid their entire e-commerce platform using React.js and the React.js framework, and they pretty much open sourced the backbone or the front end backbone of what their site is now built on. So this is super exciting, obviously for many reasons, but you're going to be able to tap into a huge enterprise's technology stack and actually use this in your own applications. So I'm really excited to see what they did with React and how they're implementing it. Again, I'm in my car on my way home, but as soon as I get home, I'm going to dig into it, and we will jump into setting up a demo of Electrode as soon as I get home. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, so I just got home, and I'm ready to jump into Walmart's Electrode. I think I was saying Electron in the car, but regardless of how it's pronounced, I'm about to jump into Walmart's new React framework and check it out and see what this thing's all about. Before I do that, I just want to show you guys Walmart Labs. So here is Walmart Labs homepage, and again, they're open sourcing some of the cool things that the dev team is building behind the scenes at Walmart. So if we jump into open source, we'll see here's the MVC framework that's designed for SEO. It's a node framework for front page load times. It's optimized. This looks interesting. Looks like a JavaScript validator, and Happy, a framework for building RESTful APIs. So these are cool projects. I didn't even know about these. Were not on my radar, to be quite honest with you. And it looks like they didn't add Electrode to this website just yet. Super cool, super exciting. I've been a little obsessed with React lately, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So if we click Get Started, it looks like they're using the Yeoman generator. Let's go ahead and open up a terminal and type in npm install -g for global, yo, which I do have installed already, but I'll run it anyway, gulp, which I have installed already, but I will run it anyway, and then their generator, and they seem to be using the yo generator for this project. So npm is going to go ahead and download all my dependencies. I assume that React is probably also a dependency of this framework. Sweet. So now go ahead and jump into my code folder, bootcamp, my React folder, and I'm going to go ahead and make a Git repo and clone it into that directory so that when this video is done, you guys will be able to take a look at the app. I'm going to name this React-Electrode Wally-World. Those of you who don't know, Wally World is a nickname for Walmart. Sweet. So now that I have a repo, I'm going to go ahead and clone that repo, and that will create the folder that is necessary for this project to live in. Sweet. So now if I run yo Electrode, we will use the Yeoman generator to create my app. Application name, it'll be the same as my repo. Description. Homepage URL. I'm going to skip. Do I want to use Express or Happy.js? Oh, that's interesting. So let me jump back to Walmart Labs. So it looks like this Happy framework can be used instead of Express. That is super interesting. I've never used Happy, so I'm going to stay on the safe side and just try Express. Author's name, my email address. Want to make this a progressive web app. Let's say no, which is the default. Would you like to create a new directory for this project? Leave the default on that. GitHub username or organization. It's just my full name. Licensing. Well done. Sweet. So now it's running npm install. So it brought in the boilerplate using Yeoman, and now it is installing all of the dependencies. So while that is working in the background, go ahead and show you guys Yeoman. So Yeoman's a really cool scaffolding framework. You can create your own apps, upload them, and then basically create app generators using your own framework. So Yeoman's really cool. Actually, shout out to Joaquim. I met Joaquim in the Rutgers Coding Bootcamp, and he actually showed me Yeoman for the first time. I had heard about it, but I never tried it, and I tried it for the first time with Joaquim. So again, shout out to Joaquim. But yeah, so Yeoman's a generator, and it's pretty cool, very semantic. You run yo and then the name of your generator. So in this case, it's Electrode, and it goes ahead and it generates you an app scaffolded out using the generator of your choice. Sweet. So now that that's done, let's do an ls. It looks like it created a folder like we asked it to. Then we're going to run gulp and then dev. And gulp is similar to Webpack, similar to Grunt. Those of you who don't know what any of those three things are, they are compilers that run and compile your code for you in the background. So it looks like the app crashed because I had another Node app running on port 3000. I'm going to go ahead and run gulp dev one more time. And hopefully, yep, we have our app up and running on port 3000. Sweet. So, hello Electrode, managing states with Redux. So it looks like this framework has Redux built in on top of React. So let's go ahead and open this up in our code editor. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in to our application. First things first, we have our client-side React. So app.jsx. Looks like it's sending browser history. It's loading initial state, and then it's rendering. Routes.jsx appears to be using React Router to load the home route. If I wanted to add more routes, I would add them here. Nice and organized. Styles. Looks like there's a baseline style sheet that is getting compiled, presumably with gulp. So if I go ahead and change the background color red and color the text to white, we should have a very Christmassy theme on our React app. Okay, cool. Next up is components. Right now it's only a home component, but you would add more components to this folder as needed. Let's go ahead and jump into the package.json. and see what are the building blocks of this framework. There's a script task called Heroku-post build, which runs grunt build. Dependencies are Bluebird, Electrode archetype React app, Electrode conflipit, Electrode React SSR caching, Electrode React web app, Electrode Redux router engine. Interesting. So it looks like they have their own version of Redux, and the React app router handles asynchronous data for React server-side rendering using Redux. Super cool. Yeah, and this is part one of the building blocks of this overall framework. So this is pretty awesome. This is pretty awesome stuff that they open sourced all of these build tools that they're using in production. I guess it's beneficial for them to use this package because they're basically package controlling React Router and Redux. So it looks like they forked React Router and Redux, and again, I could be wrong. I'm just digging into this for the first time, but it looks like they forked React Router and Redux, created their own package, and are now distributing it to the public for free. So this is super cool, super awesome. And then dev dependencies. So it's using Gulp, and then looks like another proprietary package that they created. This package provides for common patterns across all app projects so that each app can standardize on common development behavior and patterns. It's essentially pre-made patterns for build scripts. Very cool. Gulp Hot. This runs both the Node server and Webpack in hot mode. Also try Gulp Dev mode for running off battery power if you wish to maximize your battery life. What is hot mode? Hot mode enables module reloading. It's where Webpack transpiles your JavaScript and CSS code and continues to watch for any changes and builds and loads only the code that has changed its disk. It allows you to develop without reloading your browser page. Awesome. Yeah, so it's live reload. So that means as you're changing your application, the browser will automatically reload. So before I had to reload to make this color change to red, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And instead of Gulp Dev, I'm going to run Gulp Hot. And let that load. Sweet. So now it's on port 3000. I'm going to refresh. And in theory, should be able to change this to purple. Save it. And there you go. I did not have to refresh the browser that time. Different shade of purple. Yeah, there you go. That is super sweet. Definitely like hot reloading. So yeah, this is their local and production build of what they use to build the new Walmart.com. This is super awesome. All right, cool. Let's keep digging into the framework. So that's all the client-side stuff. Again, it's starting off with just a homepage, but if you wanted to add more routes, you would add them under client/routes.jsx. Next up, we have config. Your environment-specific configuration files go here and are managed by the versatile Electron-conflipit module, including a preset config that allows you to customize and extend. So let's take a look at what's in default. We have the default port that it's going to listen for. It checks for a process.environment variable for a port. So if you were to deploy this on, say, Heroku, where there is an environment variable that's set to port 80, it appears that this would automatically detect the port of your server environment. And then here are the module exports that are here by default. Production.js. My assumption is that this would only run during production. So on your local dev environment, this would not run. This file is here to allow enabling the plugins inherent to Electrode static paths, overriding the settings in production.js. In order to serve this static JavaScript and CSS bundles from files from the distribution directory, so you can test your app locally in production mode. Oh, that's super sweet. So it allows you to run a local copy, but override the variables that they would run in production mode. So that's pretty sweet. Definitely if you are using a large scale application like Walmart, you're building that, you're going to want to double test and triple QC your applications. Here's node modules. Node modules is always a mess. It's better to not look in node modules. Node modules is every single plugin that's used for React and Gulp and everything in between. First of all, it gets overridden automatically. Again, for beginners, node modules gets overridden automatically when you clone your package, and node modules should not be committed to your Git repo. The idea is that they're globally recognized plugins, and the packages that are in node modules are kind of set it and forget it. So when you get updates to those packages, let's say you were using this package is released by Walmart. When Walmart releases an update to any of their components for this package, it would go into node modules and it would override any changes that you may have made in node modules. So never edit node modules, and it should always be in your git ignore file, which will ensure that that stuff doesn't get pushed up to your repo. Okay, next up is the server folder. So this looks like the basic Express app. I assume that if I would have used Happy, then this would be a Happy server. Pretty interested to see what Walmart did with this framework for building RESTful APIs. I'll probably do another video and dive into Happy and see what that's all about. But yeah, this looks like a very basic Express server, and it's going to basically be used to deliver our routes. And if we want to build any type of RESTful API, we could build it using Express if we so chose. They're also using Bluebird. I have not used Bluebird in the past, so I will have to do a little bit of research. Again, most likely in another video, but it says here Bluebird is a full-featured promise library with unmatched performance. Awesome. So this looks like a really optimized Express server, and I would imagine if you're running a huge large scale application like Walmart's, you're gonna need your server to be super optimized. Cool. They even have the bird emoji in there. That's freaking awesome. Next, we'll go down the line to some of these config files. We have our .babel, which is pointing to where our Babel config is, and that's in node module. So again, this Babel config is being pulled from a package from npm that's managed by Walmart. So if Walmart releases updates to this and you run npm install, it's going to pull down those updates and override where this file is pulling from. Next up, git ignore. Again, like I mentioned, node modules should always be ignored. Some log files, some grunt files, and other things that should pretty much always be ignored. Oh, awesome. So it looks like I'm not alone. Looks like Walmart is also using WebStorm by JetBrains. I definitely love JetBrains. I use PHP Storm myself, and I've used WebStorm on occasions as well. So that's super awesome. Yep, Bower components similar to node modules should always be commented out, and your distribution folder should always be commented out or ignored from your repository rather. Isomorphic loader config.json. A Webpack loader plugin and library to make Node.js require work with complex files like images when we are doing server-side rendering. Super cool. So this is beautiful. God bless Walmart. Not like the hugest fan of Walmart, but this is really cool that their dev team was able to open source this. It would appear that this framework is doing both server-side rendering in React and then front-end real-time rendering in React. So what does that mean? When you're a huge site like Walmart, fancy JavaScript is nice, but you still want your app to be visible by Google and other search engines. So you need server-side rendering of your pages. So what this loader file is doing is loading React, or giving instructions to load React on the back end, so that if Google visits the page for the first time, on the first loading of the page, all of your content is there, even with JavaScript turned off, because the JavaScript is rendering on the back end. Then when you click on a product and you already have JavaScript up and running in your browser, it no longer refreshes the page. It uses React's front-end framework to load those pages. So this is really cool. This is like fully ready, prime time, primed, oiled machine, ready to go, full stack React app. Like, you can go into production with this and have no downside or side effects as far as SEO or any of those things are concerned. If you want to do a full stack React, Redux, React Router application, this is going to allow you to do that. And they appear to be following a lot of best practices. Like I mentioned before, this Bluebird package is touting unmatched performance. I would imagine that the other packages that are used in here are all optimized for performance. Next up is Travis.yaml file. It's a file where you can customize any process in the Travis default build environment. Cool, so this looks like another config. I've never used Travis before. Gulp.js, gulp file that stores all your gulp configurations. We'll explore this in this getting started guide. So again, it looks like they're using their own config. So this seems to be a highly architected, highly optimized build. I have gulp files and they do not look this pretty or this clean. It's usually multiple lines of code with various instructions. So the fact that they've bundled that all into this Electrode package is super sweet. Package.json, I think we went over that already, but they're using Lodash. We chose to use Express. We could have used Walmart's Happy framework, and again, I think I'm going to dive into that in a future video. And then we're using Walmart's fork of all these popular React components. So React App, React Caching, React Web App, Redux, and then React Router, or this routing engine. Kind of feel like it's probably a fork of React Router, but I guess I could be wrong. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's a basic walkthrough of this new package. I'm super excited to see how this project grows and matures in the future. I think I'm going to dive into this on my spare time and see if I can get a tutorial on architecting a full app using this framework. But in the meantime, I am going to go ahead and log off. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on GitHub, follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all that fun stuff. All the links to this video will be in the description. I'll add a link to the GitHub repo if you guys want to check out the code, and I'll also add a link to the Electrode website so you guys can dive into it for yourself. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night. Bye.